Hello, everybody. I'd like to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the Transgender Center of the Rockies, a program of Mile High Behavioral Healthcare. They are this season's Authenticity Ambassador, and we thank them for their support. I would also like to thank Elisa Pritchett for being this episode's Authenticity Advocate. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. Welcome to Being You, an SPH Productions presentation. My name is Shane Hodges, licensed professional counselor and author of It's Time to Be You, How to Become Your Most Authentic Self. My guest today is Jen Key. Jen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to see you.
I know, it's been forever. Well, I like to start off with a rapid fire Q&A, 60 seconds for you to see how many different quick answer questions you can answer. So,
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am.
All right. Childhood game you loved?
Sorry.
Appetizer or dessert?
Dessert.
Drink of choice?
Tea. Herbal tea.
What scares you?
Oh, that's a big question.
What are you scared of?
We're going to skip that one.
Okay. Would you climb Mount Everest?
Yes.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I am an introvert.
Favorite music genre?
Pop.
Guilty pleasure?
Dessert.
What are you most proud of?
I am most proud of the relationships with my family and my friends.
Last concert you saw?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't go to a lot of concerts.
I understand. What's in your glove box?
A first aid kit.
Okay. Famous person you'd like to meet?
RuPaul.
Of course. Are you a good cook?
Yes.
Favorite vacation spot?
I have many, but a recent one is New Zealand.
Nice. Very cool. Well, that was just over a minute. And let's see. We got through quite a few. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 12. We got through about 14.
Nice.
So very good. That's I think that might be the record for the season. So,
really?
congratulations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. Well, let's get to know a little bit more about what you do. Now, you are a psychotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about when and why you got into the field.
I went back to school to get my master's degree in counseling, which is how we know each other. And that was a second career.
What was your first?
My first career was actually in insurance and
right,
employee benefits. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know. Ew.
We escaped.
Yes, exactly. And I was doing that really because I didn't know what else to do. I graduated from college. I was one of those people who had so many interests and not much direction, and just sort of found myself in a job and had no idea.
Yep, that's how I was.
Yeah.
What was your undergraduate degree?
In veterinary science.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And I figured out eventually that counseling and therapy was something that I was really interested in. Before I made the jump, I took some classes, worked in a residential treatment center, and really made sure that I wanted to make the change. And I did, and I'm really excited that I did.
Well, we're going to talk about the letters behind your name, MA, LPC, NCC, EMDR. What can you tell us about the alphabet soup of credentials?
Yeah, so I'm a licensed professional counselor in Colorado. I'm a nationally certified counselor. I'm an EMDR certified consultant, and I'm also a sex therapist.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for about 15 years. Yeah, which seems like forever and also like not very long.
Yeah, agreed. And we're going to talk about some of the things that have changed. You mentioned sex therapy. What are some of the populations that you work with?
I work with a huge variety of folks. I work with straight people. I work with LGBTQ folks. I work with people in the kink communities, kind of whoever is showing up and saying, I want to explore. I'm willing to have some conversations with them.
How did it evolve to getting into the sex therapy and the kink work and some of those arenas?
It felt to me like a natural evolution from trauma therapy, which is what I had been doing for a very long time already. And what I mean when I say that is that with a lot of trauma work, it felt like, okay, we get to a place where we have some trauma resolution, but what's next? What comes next for people? How do we help expand? How do we help people find joy and connectedness in their relationships? And often that is also about sex and physical intimacy as well. And so it just felt like a natural evolution.
Right.
I was already having a lot of those conversations with people anyway. So I wanted to have formal education to be able to say, yeah, I really know what the resources are. I really know where to send people. I really know how to have those conversations.
With regard to the sex therapy and the kink world, what do you notice in terms of your client's response when you present or provide, I should say, that space for them to talk about it?
Well, for a lot of folks, initially, there is some shame, even though and that's not surprising to me, right? But it is surprising, I think, to a lot of people when I have these conversations, because they make an assumption that if somebody's coming in to therapy and they're wanting to have these conversations, that they're open and not feeling shame about these conversations. But that is often something that we have to work with first, even though I'm very open to the conversations and I don't have any issues exploring these topics. My clients do. And so we're working on dismantling the shame that goes along with just wanting to express themselves, live a full and connected life.
And I love it when you see that moment where they realize they can be honest and comfortable and just let the guard down. I love that.
And have real conversations and just be themselves, and they don't have to hold back, and they don't have to pretend, and they don't have to censor for you.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the shame. It's so rooted in that. The shame that we assign to so many different things that aren't normal.
Yeah.
So,
and there is no such thing as normal. I have that conversation with people.
Normal to you.
Every day.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no such thing as normal. And what we've been taught is normal about sex and sexuality is just one small part of the spectrum of ways that people express themselves and want to express themselves. And there's just no such thing.
So I have to ask, actually, because this something just popped into my mind. I was thinking back to the sexuality counseling class. Did you have Dr. Black? Okay. I don't know if you had the same syllabus or whatever. One of the assignments, we had to choose something that was outside our comfort zone and then report on it. What did you end up doing?
I actually went to a sex club. I went to a swinging club with a friend of mine who was in the community at that time.
Nice. Well, you mentioned it's been about 15 years for us. We did the same program. We worked together in the same agency. We've maintained professional contact ever since. How do you feel things have changed in the profession since we started?
Oh, gosh. That is an enormous question. I have seen in my own practice that it has become, or at least has gone through ups and downs, shall we say, in terms of how accessible it is for providers to accept insurance. And that includes Medicaid. And I've gone through different periods in my own practice of accepting insurance or not accepting insurance simply because I'm a one-person operation. And in order to continue to be able to keep my doors open and pay my mortgage and take care of my family, I have to operate like a business. Which is very challenging as a person who also wants to provide something that I believe should actually be accessible for everyone at no cost. That's part of my values, but that's not the that's not the system that we live in.
No. What, if anything, in terms of what we are taught about how to do this job, do you feel is not really a fit for you?
I don't think we were taught how to do this job. Like at all.
Oh my God, I love it. Continue. Tell me more.
So first, let me say, I really actually did appreciate our program. I did appreciate our program.
Absolutely.
I thought it was a good program.
Agreed.
And so I'm not trying to bash our graduate program. And a criticism that I have of counseling and social work programs in general is that they don't actually teach you how to be a therapist. They teach you theory,
Right.
they teach you ethics, and those things are important. Those are very, very important. And then they release you to the world and say, oh, go be a therapist. And how in the world are we supposed to be a therapist when we don't actually have any real tools except... Tell me more about that, Shane.
Oh my God. Yes, I consider myself to be unique. And I think you are as well.
Yeah, I think that there is definitely a place for more directive therapy. There is a place for, I don't want to say technique driven, because that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But having a really strong framework for how you are addressing issues. I mean, particularly when we're talking about trauma treatment and sexual issues, there has to be a really strong framework. And if you are not a directive therapist, if you are just providing a space where people come and complain every week and then hand you a check, that's not therapy.
Agreed. Well, what challenges have you or do you encounter as a therapist?
Many. So many challenges. This is the weirdest job ever. It's a wonderful job. It's a fantastic job.
Right.
I'm honored to do this job. I'm honored to do this work and be let into the worlds of my clients.
Yes.
And I think the biggest challenge of this work is what it demands of us as therapists to continue to do our own work, to continue to look at ourselves, to continue to confront our own stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's also a gift because it means that if I'm really being reflective, then I will continue to grow in really amazing ways as long as I am willing to do that.
You mentioned it's hard work. One of the things that's very common in our field is burnout. How do you feel you have managed or avoided potentially that burnout?
I've done a better job at sometimes in my career than others. I mean, to just be very honest, I am absolutely not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I just managed that beautifully. Because I don't always manage that very well because I am very committed to this work. I'm very committed to my clients. I sometimes have to work much harder to take care of myself because this work is so challenging. One of the ways that I have managed burnout for myself over the years is to continue learning. For me, that's really, really important, that there's always something more to learn, some way to expand in terms of my knowledge and the tools in my toolbox, because that helps me to not feel so helpless and hopeless.
That second part.
Yeah, because that can be a really challenging part of this job. Sitting with people, and sometimes there's not a solution.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just not. You can have all of the trainings in the world, and there can be somebody sitting in front of you that does not have a way out of whatever it is that's going on for them. And if we are caring people, which we are, that's incredibly difficult. Yeah.
Well, what is your biggest hope in regard to your clients and or their outcomes?
That's a great question. I think I always have hope, I mean, just in a very general way for all of us, right, as humans, that we can continue to grow. No matter what it is that we're facing, no matter what it is that's going on, even when we are in situations where things might actually be hopeless for us, there might not be a way out of whatever it is that we're dealing with, that there is something important about facing that. And growing in that.
The growth part, I think, is a big part of it, because one of the things I often say, and it's I'm very cautious about how I present it, but it's usually around trauma. I say I would never wish trauma on anyone. That being said, I also believe that we take something away from our trauma that in some way, and I don't like to use the word benefits, but helps us, gives us tools that allow us to be able to work through other things in our lives that people who haven't been through that don't have.
Yeah, we can know things about ourselves
Yeah.
that we wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to know. And also, I mean, there can be multiple truths at once. We would
Right.
not choose to go through
Yes.
it. We would not choose it again. We might wish that it never happened. And it can also be true that we have this knowledge of ourselves
Yes.
that is really important and
I
meaningful.
use that a lot. Two things can be true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Let's get a little bit more personal and talk just about you. As I mentioned, people in our field can struggle with burnout. It's not for everyone. How do you relax and or take care of yourself when you're not working?
I am crafty.
Okay.
So I like to be creative. I like to knit. I like to crochet. Those are the things that I'm doing a lot of right now to manage stress. I really like to be with my family. I really like to be with my cats and my dog. I really like to garden.
Okay.
I do a lot of container gardening of flowers, and I really like to create pollinator gardens.
Yes.
So I do that every summer and try to draw in bees.
Well, where did you grow up?
I grew up in southern Arizona.
Okay. Till what age?
I was actually in Arizona till I was 5. And then we moved to California for about 5 years. And then we moved back to southern Arizona.
Okay.
And then I was there through college and then moved to Denver in 2001.
What brought you up here?
A job, insurance job.
Gotcha. Did you know about Denver before you had moved here? Were you familiar with it?
Not really.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I lived in Tucson. Well, because that's where I went to college. And again, I was just kind of lost after college because I had so many interests. And speaking of burnout, I was so burned out after college that I could not figure myself out and was like, okay, I'm going to just do this job and this is just what's happening. And sorry for anyone that likes Tucson. I did not enjoy Tucson at all. Tucson is not my favorite place.
Not your cup of tea.
And as soon as I learned that there was a job opportunity with my company in Denver, I was like, okay, bye.
I'm out.
And I got in my car with
so you
my
transferred
cat.
with the company you
I
were
did.
already. Okay, nice.
Yeah, I
Same.
got
That's
in
how
my
I got
car
here.
with the cat and drove to Denver and never looked back.
That's hilarious. Same. Well, what stands out for you regarding your early childhood?
Oh, lots of time with my pets. That stands out to me. Like those are some big memories for me because I'm an only child.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
I forgot about that.
Didn't have a lot of kids, and and I was the only grandchild in my family
Oh,
for
wow.
a long time.
Okay.
So there were no other kids
Gotcha.
around, really.
Yeah.
At least not in the family.
In the
I mean, there
family.
were friends, but not family-wise. Oh, I was around a lot of adults.
Yep.
And I spent a lot of time with my animals and making up lots of interesting fantasy games with my dolls. It was funny. I was actually just thinking about this the other day. The games I would play with my dolls, it was like, of course I was going to be a therapist. Like the games I would play with my dolls that, my parents would come in and be like, what's going on here? Because it was very dramatic. Like these very dramatic Barbie scenes and
So creative from a very young age.
Yeah, especially with the interfamilial Barbie family relationships. Yeah.
How funny.
Yeah.
It is interesting, I think, to look back in hindsight, of course, and recognize things of like, oh my God, there were signs way back then. Too funny. Yeah. Well, as a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a veterinarian.
That's right.
Yeah,
you did say that.
For a long time. I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I got an undergraduate degree in veterinary science and was preparing to go to veterinary school.
Mhm.
And then worked in some veterinary clinics and quickly learned this is not the job for me. I was very, very interested in all of the studies. The
Yeah.
studies were amazing. I loved my classes. I loved the material. And then the actual working with the animals, I couldn't do
It's
it.
so funny that you say that. Christine Casey Perry, interviewed her the first season, same thing. She was planning to do that, and then she's like, oh, and then I realized you have to deal with animals dying. She's like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah,
so I
it was
get that.
really, really tough. I couldn't see it at the time, and maybe it was the same for you. I felt so lost and I felt so directionless, but I didn't recognize that it was data, right? It was really important data, because if I hadn't pursued those studies, I wouldn't have known that wasn't the right path for me.
Exactly.
So that wasn't without value. It was data, and it was really disappointing, but it was important. Success doesn't just mean we get the outcome we thought we were going to get. We don't have to just measure success in that.
Well, what would 15-year-old you think of current you?
I think 15-year-old me would be very confused. I think she would be proud. I think she would be happy and excited, but also I think she'd be very confused.
How did you get
how did that happen? I think she'd be very, very confused, but I think she'd be very happy. I think I mentioned before, I'm very proud of my relationships. And that, to me, back to that word success, that feels like success to me. Having deeply connected relationships that feel incredibly satisfying, that I work on all the time, that are valuable to me, that's success. And so I think she would be very, very pleased and very, very happy to have these relationships in her life.
If you could, what would you say to 25-year-old you?
Oh, wow. I would tell her to find a different job. Yeah, I would. That would be.
What was your job at that
first
time?
Insurance.
Was that like your early phase of it?
Yeah, the first few years. I would tell her to find a different job, not because it wasn't meeting the needs. Like it was just fine. It was meeting the needs, but that's what it was. It was just fine. It was just fine. And I think at that time, I was just kind of in this survival. Like I gotta just, pay the bill, which a lot of people are, right? Like, and that it's such a privilege. I feel like it's such a privileged place that I'm sitting in now to be able to say, oh, 25-year-old Jennifer, you could have done something differently. Because at that point, I didn't know I could.
Yeah.
At that point, I didn't realize what my choices were.
Well, excuse me. What is something about you that people don't know or surprises them?
I don't know. That's a really good question, too. Well, I think it might surprise people how boring I am in my off time, because I'm really boring. Like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go home and finish that knitting project. Right? That might surprise people. I think it might surprise people how much I cuss. I cuss a lot. So sometimes that's well, you're not surprised. You're not surprised.
I've been there.
You're not surprised. But that might surprise people.
That's fun.
And how really super obsessed, this won't surprise you either, but how very over the top obsessed with drag queens I am. I love drag. I love it.
Now, do you watch all the different versions of Drag Race? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I figured as much. But.
Yeah, I do. I do. And if I were less of a boring old lady that wants to be knitting, I would also be out in the bars watching too, because that is so much fun and so amazing. And I want to support local queens more, but also I'm old. And so
I hear you.
I am going to bed at 9 o'clock.
They don't start till 11.
Yeah. And I'm
like, listen.
That is a challenge.
Drag brunch. There you go.
Yes, and I love drag brunch. I love drag brunch.
Midday.
Drag brunch is the best. Yeah, and you can be sitting down and there's food.
Oh my God, I love it.
Right? Yes. Like.
That's when my husband and I joke about this. We're like, okay, when it comes to going out, is there parking?
Yes,
Can
that's
I
the first
sit?
question. Yeah, can I be sitting?
And can I hear the person I'm talking to?
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what dreams and or goals do you still have for yourself personally?
Those have changed a lot in the last, I would say, 2 years.
Ah, okay. I get that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those have shifted a lot. I mean, I would say that the dreams and goals now, oh, that's a big question, Jane, are more about trying to help this is just personal, right? Like my family be safe and stable.
Yeah.
Those are the dreams and goals. And that is a big shift over the last couple of years because I would have said different things. I had different educational goals and have had to shift those, and different professional and business goals, and those have had to shift. And the context of that we're all living in has changed.
Yeah. It's hard to, as again we were talking earlier, I think it's hard to acknowledge when you are in a scenario where you are making choices because you feel it is out of necessity and not because it is out of choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When choices are changing.
Yeah. 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 That's a good way of putting it. Our
Yeah.
choices and our options are changing, shifting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That brings us to our wow segment of the program, the words of wisdom. I like to ask all my guests, what words of wisdom and or advice do you have regarding being your most authentic self?
My words of wisdom that I share with my clients, that I try to take to heart, are trying to be in touch with what is really true for you. And what I mean by that is what resonates with your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those things feel great and sometimes they feel terrible. And whether they feel great or they feel terrible, being able to recognize what feels true for you, down to your core, down to your cells, I think is vital.
Absolutely.
For our survival in whatever situation we happen to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, sometimes it feels great, sometimes it feels terrible, but if we are being really clear with ourselves, if we're being really honest with ourselves about what is true for us, it makes facing whatever it is we have to face easier.
Yeah.
Sometimes not nice, but easier.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. What, if any, information, socials, website, or otherwise would you like to share so that people can check you out and or get information on what's going on with you?
Sure. So I have a website. My website is jenniferkeycounseling.com. And people can contact me through my website if they wish to inquire about services. They can also read about what I'm doing and what I have available in my practice. I love when people contact me through my website so I can.
Well, reach out. I've known this one for 15 years plus. Well, more than that because almost, I guess, 16-ish years. But she's amazing and very easy to talk to. So check out her website. Again, thank you all for watching. My name again is Shane Hodges, licensed professional counselor and author of It's Time to Be You, How to Become Your Most Authentic Self. Thank you all for watching. Be yourselves and have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
Thanks again to the Transgender Center of the Rockies for being this season's Authenticity Ambassador. We appreciate all the work you do. Check them out at transgendercenteroftherockies.org.